Welcome to 4 News, the program that features internet icons, unique individuals helping people all over the world on the internet to greatly improve their lives through their products, services, courses, and much, much more.
Welcome to another edition of 4 News, the program that features internet icons. And boy, I've got a great one for you today. My special guest today is Dr. Harvey Loomstein. Dr. Loomstein is the director of the Biotech Institute, which offers primary care services to individuals coping with chronic illnesses such as diabetes, obesity, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, and autoimmune disorders. Dr. Loomstein, it is such a great pleasure to have you here. We worked together for a couple of years now. You are an absolute genius, and I can't wait to tell the folks and let these people see what you're doing. You are amazing. Welcome to the program, Harvey.
Gary, thanks a lot. I really am happy I'm here. I appreciate the compliments. I think they might be a little bit more overstated. What I used to say is I know where the rocks are. So I can walk on water because I know where the rocks are.
You are terrific. You are an absolute genius at helping people with all those kinds of chronic problems. It seems that despite all the medical advances in disease treatment, people are sicker today than ever before. Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a couple of reasons, Gary. Number one is people are living longer. And as you get older, your body's ability to heal itself because you lose energy diminishes. And as that diminishes, you become sick. We have a really bad problem with toxicity in this country and across the world. And this toxicity gets into you no matter what you eat, no matter what you drink, no matter the air you breathe. It gets into your body. And if your detox pathways aren't working, you're going to get sick because everything goes through the gut. Everything goes through the blood. So the key to getting somebody well is keeping the blood clean. And you can only do that by keeping the gut clean.
Specifically, tell the folks the basic problems that you treat. Give them some idea of what you do.
We treat people who have chronic illnesses that they're still sick despite going to multiple doctors and taking multiple medications. And in fact, in many times, they're sicker than they were when they start. What we do is we start with an intake interview that one of our clinicians. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're the right place. Not everybody is going to do well in our program. Not everyone is going to say this is wonderful and it's the greatest thing since life. And what we tell people is, we'd like for you to stick with this for 3 months. If at the end of 3 months you aren't different, then what we do isn't going to work. I've only had that happen a couple of times in the hundreds of people treated. So what we do then is we have the people come in, they make an appointment, they go to the schedule, they make an appointment, they pick the program, they pay the fee, and then we get into the interview. Now the interview I will tell you this, it's more than one session. And my sessions are like an hour and a half or so. It's more than one because what we do is we do the AO scan. Now, back in the brick and mortar days, we used to take 4 or 5 hours taking a history from somebody because the history tells you where, so to speak, they fell off the wagon. Where was it they started getting sick and what made them sick? Then you go back to that point and you fix it. What we have now is we have this wonderful thing called an AO scan, which tells me about the body. It tells me what's going on in the body, what has gone on, and mostly what's still happening that's causing energy to be depleted or taking energy to fix. As an example, when I did this on me, I immediately brought into because it showed I had a retinal hemorrhage in my left eye. Wow. And I did in 2011, and I did this scan in 2023. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. You're looking at things that might still be impacting the person. They could have had a car and the pain went away, and now it might be back, but the pain went away because you had stores of energy. You were able to treat it and turn it off in your brain. The problem is when you get inflammation in your gut, you're going to have inflammation in your brain. And all of these toxins cause inflammation. It starts in your gut. And 14 of the 15 chronic illnesses are caused from inflammation. So by fixing your gut and turning off the inflammation, voila, we fix your immune system.
That's amazing. Now, let me ask you a question. A couple of months ago, you did a scan on me. You're talking about this AO scan. Was that the same one that you did on me?
Yes, sir.
I got to tell you, I got to tell the audience, Dr. Loomstein, now, I've never met him before in my life in person. Literally, yeah. We've known each other for a couple of years now, and I'm just amazed at what he does. He contacted me and we got on the internet and he asked me just a couple of questions, and somehow just talking to him goes onto this scan. And by the end of the scan, he told me things about my body which were just absolutely mind-blowing. He said, well, you've had this problem or you've got that problem. Are you having a problem in this area? I said, yes, I am. I mean, it was just amazing. Like he was some fortune teller, but he knew exactly what I had been experiencing and what I might be experiencing. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever been through. The AO scan, and you can do this now on the internet. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's done over the internet, virtual. There's no pain. You don't have to take your clothes off. You just.
So anybody can, now maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Can anybody contact you and arrange one of these things?
Yes, they.
I got to tell you, from my own personal experience, that was just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing what he told me about my body, and he didn't know anything about my body, but that scan told me things that are just absolutely right spot on. Just amazing. I'm sorry, I just got off. You were talking about, I didn't know what the name of it was, but I knew that you had done some kind of a scan on me. Are there basic protocols that you use in treating your patients, your clients, I should say?
We start each one with an AOS, and we have several protocols for what might be help that individual and where they fit. For example, we use nutrition. We can use patch. We can use liquids that are cell signals. We can use suppositories for people who can't take any of it, they're really so sensitive that if they do any, those are people who are truly, no matter what they do, they get even taking the medicine. And what we tell people is, do not stop your medication. We are not interested in stopping your medication. Your body will tell you when to stop. And let me explain that. We have a great deal of success with diet. I'm a diabetic. I've been a diabetic since 1996.
Wow.
That's an interesting day. And I now have my last A1C was 5 which is almost not being a diabetic. Probably if I quit eating ice cream, I might get there. But
you're my kind of guy. I love ice.
And I take no medication. And that's been going on now for almost. And we can do that because here's diseases. Illnesses like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, lung disease. Those are metabolic diseases caused by immune system. Now, they are described as progressive and degenerative. If you have diabetes, it is, no matter what, it's going to get worse. And the only thing that medicine has to offer you is insulin is a two-edged. Insulin can save your, it will also wreck your. But you're better to learn how to control your blood sugar, learn how to do the exercises that make your muscles function as they can then take the insulin that's in your body and use. Here's your is your second. And most people who are, they may sweat a little from their forehead, they may sweat a little from their chest or the center of their chest, but they don't. So the kid is not fun. And it's sending to the skin, and that's not. The gastroc muscle, the calf, is your second. It keeps doing the pump to make the blood. So if you're sitting on the couch, your heart has to work. Diabetes and obesity cause high blood pressure. How does that? Well, it happens because the blood has a difficult time getting the arteries and the veins, and most particularly into the capillaries where all the good things. So that's why I treat the blood. I put back into the blood what needs to be there, and I take out what isn't. And that starts the person on the right, because when you do the detox pathways, and then you start dumping, you have to have an open to dump into an open gut, and it has to go some. I learned this watching that. I tell you why 96 is. In 1987, I was out in California. I was working with a guy who was doing something back then that was called environmental medicine. And in medicine, that was really, but I learned a lot from this guy. He was really and a good. I put a functioning, and his goal was to see if he could see improvement by the treatments that turned out. That is now quantitative EEG. A lot of people out there. So what I learned from was that opening up the gut was the first thing that you had to do. You had to open the